So when I say TPUSA in Tampa is bustling with political heavyweights, I'm not joking. And we have, well, here in Florida, she's royalty. Probably could actually be Florida royalty soon. But she's well known in conservative circles, not just because of her husband, but because of what she's been doing with education. And the passing of the OBBB, the One Big Beautiful Bill, has just had amazing repercussions on every facet of American life, especially education. So I am very excited to welcome Erika Donalds, who is here today. She's the chairman of Education Opportunity at America First Policy Institute. She's the wife of Congressman Byron Donalds, and she's my guest here on Kaye Saves the Republic. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm happy to be here. All this great energy, all these young people, these young patriots at Turning Point.
Isn't it amazing? It keeps us up. I'm like, wow, all these people are much younger than I am, but it does. It makes you feel young yourself, which is fantastic. And you are. You and Byron are, you want to talk about energy. We met in St. Johns County. There was an event with Kaye Lake back when she was running, and I remember there was a red carpet that kept coming up. And Byron, literally, he was the guest of honor. He jumps down with duct tape and starts duct taping this red carpet down. I was like, I think they probably have people that can do it. He's like, no, I got it. But that's the kind of energy that we need in the Republican Party, and that's the kind of energy that you and he both bring. So thanks for being here.
Well, we come from the grassroots,
so
this is very near and dear to our hearts, right? We're activists and started in the Tea Party movement. We've served on boards and in the Republican Executive Committee, and we've done the taping down of red carpets before. So we're nothing new to us. But it's really exciting, I think, as someone who's been involved, I know as you have, in Republican politics for a while, to be at an event like this in my hometown of Tampa, actually. But to see so many young people here wanting to be involved, wanting to be active, wanting to know what was going on. I don't know about you, but when I was their age, I had no thought of politics whatsoever.
Not at all.
So I'm always, and my husband and I both are always here to support Charlie and the great work that he's doing with Turning Point and all of their chapters across the country. Could be said that they swung the election with so many in that demographic turning from blue to red.
I think 100% they did. And you're right. When I was in high school, we're talking about a Friday and a Saturday and a Sunday. And if you'd be hard pressed getting me to come to a political activism event on a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday, but this place is rocking and it is so much fun. And you're right, the youth movement is fantastic, and they did turn the election, and they will turn future elections. And you are an activist, and you are grassroots, and in fact, you got started because, like most people, you were just a parent that was fed up with the school system. And what were you, at a meeting or something? You were like, "That's it, screw it, we're going to private school."
Well, actually, yes. One of my children, I have 3 boys who are actually the age of a lot of the kids here. Now, one just graduated college, another graduating high school. But when they were young, one of them, the teachers told me and the principals told me that he needed to be medicated or he needed to be in a special classroom. I knew that wasn't going to happen, so pulled him out of public school, put him into a private school. Really, I couldn't afford at the time.
Right.
But he was a different child after that. He loved going to school, loved classical education. I didn't even know there were different styles of education at the time, but I found out quickly because he was so excited to tell me everything he had learned that day. And none of my children had been that way before. I certainly hadn't. And it really opened my eyes. So I started some classical charter schools myself. I served on the school board and really learned from the inside how broken the education system is and how parents feel so unheard and their concerns not responded to by their school district, by their schools. And that's why I'm so passionate about school choice and bringing free market competition into education.
And it's true. And so I'm currently running for Congress in my district, but I tell people all the time, I go, you know what? This is not important. School board is probably the most important thing you vote for in an election, and people pay the least amount of it. And city council is the most important thing that you can vote for in an election. And people are always like, who's running for president? Who's going to be my next senator?
It's true.
And those are all, those are important jobs as well, but nowhere near as important as the local level. So what you've done, and it's tough. It's a tough, thankless job, but you've really got to be passionate about it. So now you are with the America First Policy Institute. What about the One Big Beautiful Bill? Because we know the One Big Beautiful Bill cuts taxes, no tax on tips. There's no tax on overtime. We've got great Social Security benefits, but really, Donald Trump made sure that every aspect of the government, every cabinet position had a big windfall in this One Big Beautiful Bill that they could use for whatever programs they needed. What happened with the education department, and what does the OBBB do for education here and really all over the place?
Well, the big win, and not just for the education department because we know it's going away, but
Right.
for parents across this country, is the most transformational school choice policy ever passed anywhere in the United
Right.
States of America. And I don't think people really understand how big of a win this is for our school choice president, Donald Trump. The first ever federal tax credit scholarship program where you and I and anyone else who pays more than $1,700 in federal taxes can instead redirect those funds to a nonprofit that's going to distribute them for the benefit of students across the country for private school, online programs, tutoring, certifications, dual enrollment, all types of educational expenses, allowing parents to customize the education experience for their kids and giving school choice to parents in blue states all over the country that have never had school choice before.
I mean, it's amazing.
Unlimited, uncapped, and permanent, along with Trump's tax cut package. So it is an incredible win that we definitely should be celebrating.
I feel like school choice in a blue state, and this is something that I'm glad you brought up, school choice in a blue state will turn those states red faster than probably anything else. Because once you realize that you're not locked in to the bad school and the bad neighborhood because of where you live, it really, I think, is going to open up your eyes to, and once you realize you can bypass these unions, which, let's talk about the Department of Education, because we know it's going away. Do we know when it's going away? Is it going away sooner than later? Is it going away before the next election?
Well, absolutely. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Donald Trump promised to get rid of the Department of Education, and he is making good on that promise. We've already cut the department by half.
Right.
The reduction in force that happened literally within the week of Linda McMahon's confirmation as secretary, and they're cutting the budget. They did exactly what they said. They block granted money to the states in this latest budget and cut it by more than 15%.
Yeah.
And so it's step by step, it's incremental, and it does require some cooperation from Congress, but everything within the administration's power to continue to dismantle the department and focus whatever funds available on the things that you and I would agree with, not the DEI programs and things like that. They're doing that as we speak.
Yeah.
So they're making great progress. Higher education, as you know, is an absolute boondoggle. The student loan program, a lot of accountability and cuts being made there in the big, beautiful bill as well. And so we're making incredible progress in Trump's first 6 months in office.
And the thing I've noticed too, because I have a son who's starting college this year, my daughter is going to be applying for college next year, and already you're starting to see the colleges and the college experts and the counselors saying, you know what, it's going to be actually a lot easier for kids to get into some of these schools next year because the kids from overseas who are, brought in and given all this money, all of our money, aren't going to be coming in. They're not going to have all of that money to give away. So it does open up a lot of opportunity to American students who have worked hard all their lives and have been shut out by these institutes of higher learning. That is, if they really want to go there anyway, which is a conversation for another day on the state level, because now, no secret, your husband, who's a great congressman, one of our favorites, and always has been, will not be a congressman anymore because he's running for governor. And if he wins, he'll be the governor. If he doesn't win, he won't be a congressman. We'll figure out what his next step is. But how excited are you for this race? What do you feel has been? I mean, you've gotten a pretty big endorsement already.
That's right.
I don't think anyone else is even in the race yet, or no one's serious. So how's it going with the campaign? Getting out early?
Well, as you mentioned, he is endorsed by Donald Trump. In February, Donald Trump put out a glowing endorsement of my husband, Byron Donalds, for governor, and said, run, Byron, run, and run he has. He's visited almost half of the counties in Florida already since announcing in February, to massive crowds and excitement. We just came from a Republican club in Sarasota, which in the middle of July was absolutely packed out. And it's great to see. We have been in Florida. We met in college. I've lived here my whole life and for generations. And Florida has done incredible things for our family. We've raised our kids here. We had a great education here, and we've built great careers. We've been able to give back to our community. We've achieved the American dream, and our kids are on track to do the same. And so we want to give back. And we want all the people who live in Florida, who've moved to Florida, to achieve the same success that we have in this great state, and to protect the freedoms that we hold so dear here and being the greatest state in the country. And I think everyone that we encounter across the state on the campaign trail aligns with our view of the way the state should continue to be so successful. And they believe that Byron, with his background, his experience, his track record being the most conservative member of Congress, all of the rating systems, whether it's in the House of Representatives in Florida or in Congress, you can see his track record, you know what he stands for, and they trust him to continue the great success that Governor Ron DeSantis has had.
And you went to Florida State.
Go Noles.
So you're familiar with Tallahassee.
I am very.
Moving back to Tallahassee, that's not going to be difficult for you at all. You already know all the shortcuts and everything.
Get to go to all the football games.
Yeah, I know. Wait, do you get to do... Hold on a second, because as First Lady of the state of Florida, can you wear a Seminoles jersey, or do you have to have one of those split house divided type things going?
Listen, so we had this conversation in our house because my husband and my two sons went to the White House when the Gators were there celebrating their national championship in basketball.
Yes.
I encouraged him to wear his Seminoles tie to this event. He did not, though. He was trying to remain neutral as someone who's running to represent all fans in Florida, Gators and Seminoles, but I'm going to hold it down for Florida State for this family, okay? We are diehard Seminoles, but we love all Floridians. We want them to flourish. Yeah. Unless they're playing Florida State, then we don't want them to flourish.
Yeah, then we don't want them to flourish. So real quick, and I know that you're very busy, and I appreciate you taking the time. So I launched my congressional bid earlier this year, about the same time your husband started running for governor, and my wife, of course, would then be, I guess, the First Lady of District 5. What's your advice as the spouse of a congressman that you would tell my wife if and when I win?
Stay flexible. You have to be flexible, which is very difficult for someone like me. You know, I'm a CPA. I was in financial services for 20 years. I'm a very detailed planner, type A personality. My husband's very go with the flow. That's why we make a great team. But when you are in Congress, things change very rapidly. Like last week, he was not supposed to be in Washington, but we had to be there for the big, beautiful bill and to get Trump's agenda across. And last year, he was out on the campaign trail for the better of 3 months to make sure that Donald Trump got elected and that we won back this country. And so it is a service for both of you. It's not a one-man band, right? It's not just you serving, it's her as well. So you have to stay flexible, and you have to know that it is a calling for you both and for your whole family, but it's an honorable calling. It's an honor to do what we do and to be able to serve both this country and this state.
All right, so if Byron wins and I win, do you guys have like a DC apartment you could sublet for cheap or something? Or
no, we actually don't. You know, we like a lot of congressmen, he commutes back and forth. We don't live in D.C. Can't let the swamp get you.
Yeah,
so,
I agree wholeheartedly. Don't pay rent, just buy plane tickets. That's right. That's the one thing you want to do.
When you live in Naples, you know, it doesn't really compare to D.C.
That is exactly right. Erika Donalds, the chair of the educational, tell me again, the educational...
Chair of Education Opportunity America First Policy Institute, which this organization is responsible for a lot of the successes that were teed up ready to go as Donald Trump went in office, all those executive orders that were written ahead of time. And so this is AFPI 2.0. We're readying for the next generation of America First leadership, both during this administration and beyond. And so I'm really honored to be a part of it and leading the education efforts for America First.
Yeah, and we're so excited for you. We're so excited for your family. We're so excited for your husband. And we look forward to you helping Floridians and Americans for years to come. Thanks so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you.
What are the odds you would endorse my campaign?
Can't do that on the spot, as you know.
I know.
But that's what you need to do, though. That's the energy you got to bring to this campaign.
Perfect. I'll ask you again tomorrow.
Okay.